Have the strangest feeling to know what.
From dating to relationships, from sex to love, from Christianity to politics, from darkness to light, you have now entered into the real zone. Welcome to Conversations with Trent, where no topic of conversation is safe from discussion. Now, here he is, Mr. Epic himself, Trent Williams.
What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on, beautiful people? Welcome to another conversation with Trent and Friends. We've been off for a couple of weeks, celebrating the birthday and all that good stuff, and just are all around about busy with the nonprofit and all that good stuff. So, trying to get some things done. Good stuff. We got a hot one tonight. We're gumbo talking tonight. We got a special guest coming through, a good friend of the show, great supporter of the show, Ursula Johnson. So she'll be in here in a few seconds with Coach D and I. What we're talking about tonight, for purpose or pleasure. What's your purpose when you're going into a relationship or a marriage? Or what's your pleasure? There's a clear and distinctive difference between the two. Let's bring Coach D in here. We'll talk about it.
Hey there.
What's going on? What's going on?
Not much outside today, so I'm a little red.
All good. All good.
It's all that Irish DNA. I burn. So
it's kind of warm out there. I'll tell you a funny story. Tell you guys a funny story about Kobe. So it's kind of, how it gets in New Orleans. I mean, super hot with the humidity. It's like 95 or whatever. So, yeah, as you know, first meal of the day. So he always wants to go out on the first meal. So I went out the back door, opened it up for him, and I'm looking through the French doors at him, see what he's going to do, because it was too hot for me to do the cardio. I normally do cardio with him, right? The cardio workout, walk him and do all that stuff going up and down the street, but I couldn't do it this morning. So he didn't even leave the patio area. He just looked back like, I'm not even built for this. Open the door. So he didn't even relieve it. It's hot. It's definitely hot out there.
It was. I'm in Maryland, and it was 97 today.
Yeah, it's pretty warm here. Can you imagine 95 with the humidity, making it feel like it's 100? So it's extremely hot. So good stuff, though, man. How's the little man?
He is good. He's out of school. Report card came in, straight A's. He's on the principal's honor roll again. So
Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. Look like we got the good folks coming in. We've been off for a minute. I wasn't expecting to see folks in there, but look at them. What's going on, Brenda?
Brenda, Kathy, and Slash are here.
What's going on, Kathy out of North Carolina? Doing wonderful things on that radio show. She's on traditional radio now, and good stuff. Congratulations to you, Miss Di. Congratulations to you. I listen all the time. Good stuff, man. What up, Slash? I see you, brother. And Brenda, always a favorite supporter of mine out of Memphis, who actually loves Kobe to death. So good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah, I don't trust people who don't like animals.
Exactly.
If you don't like dogs or cats or animals in particular, I'm like,
Exactly. So we're on Instagram. Shout out to Black Lightning Trucking over there on Instagram as well, and all the wonderful follows over there on Instagram. So good stuff, man. We see you guys. Good stuff. Good stuff. Also on YouTube and on the Taylor Kennedie platform. So we appreciate you guys. We definitely appreciate you guys. Good stuff. Yeah, so we're talking about for purpose or pleasure. For purpose or pleasure. Now we know in any relationship, what purpose is about in a relationship. But in my opinion, to have a purposeful relationship, to have a fruitful, purposeful relationship, you have to be purposeful yourself. You have to know exactly where you are, what road you're traveling before you actually bring someone into that space. And if you're not connected and you're not, aligning those purposes and going on a goal together, the purpose together as far as a relationship, feeding the relationship. It's not going to work.
Can you define purposeful for me? Because it sounds very transactional.
No, not purposeful. You mean purposeful?
Yeah, that's why I said define it.
To me, so we could be technical here. 1 second. We'll pull it up real quick. All right. The purpose for a relationship is typically to provide companionship, love, security, and emotional and physical support for one another.
All right.
It's my opinion. So I jotted down the notes here. So, but that's my definition of a purposeful relationship. But we kind of get it confused and we place the rose-colored glasses on when we're going to these relationships for pleasure. I went into relationships, several relationships for pleasure. My second marriage was for pleasure. It looked good on paper. It looked great on paper, but it was a temporary contract. So as I'm digging and doing this research, right, I started looking at different, cultures and nationalities and the Islamic faith. They truly have a temporary contract where they compensate the lady and whatnot. And we talked about it a little bit. We touched on it a little bit when we were actually, talking about the show, pre-warm-ups. But they have this contract and they both agree on an end date. And if it goes past that end date, they can either get rid of the relationship, the temporary contract, or renew it. And she'll be compensated for that. What does that sound like to you?
What do you mean?
What does it sound like to you as far as
Sounds like more people should have it.
What'd you say?
It sounds like more people should have written contracts.
Exactly. Now, here's the thing. I started thinking, right? I was like, okay, so if this Islamic faith is actually doing this, like, are these women and men in the States are aware of these things? And I talked to a couple of my friends. I called them up. They wasn't aware of that. There is such a thing as a temporary contract. If you're going into it for pleasure, if you're going into a relationship for pleasure, to be honest with you, I truly believe that, hey, just say exactly what you want. Come to an agreement, and whatever the agreement is, roll with it. But don't go in with the terrible intention. If a person doesn't know you're coming in for pleasure, it's still going to be toxic and it's going to be temporary and it's going to end bad. It's definitely going to end bad. So I say, hey, man, just be straightforward. I have no problem with a temporary contract because that's being transparent. That's telling each other exactly what you want, exactly what you need as far as pleasurable. But I've had enough of that to last a lifetime. I'm into purposeful relationships. If it's not purposeful, I don't want it. I'm not interested in it. So, you know what I mean? So let's get to the comments real quick and then we'll get back to it.
All right. So Slash says sounds like break tag. What?
Sounds like a break tag. Like in Louisiana, we have break tags here, right? Hey, elaborate on that, Slash. Elaborate on that.
Break tag.
The brake tag I'm thinking he's talking about is for a car. It's temporary. You got to renew it every so often.
Like a license plate?
Nah, it's a brake tag for the window shield. You wouldn't know about that. Only in Louisiana.
Why is that? That's weird.
Exactly, corrupt.
We have registration and license plates here.
But that's another.
I don't know anything about the Islamic contract you're talking about. I know about the marriage contract, but I don't know anything about this other contract, so I'm not going to speak on that. But here's the thing. All relationships have contracts. Most of the time, they're just not written.
Right.
Like if somebody does a certain behavior and you allow it, that's a contract that behavior is allowable.
Right.
It's like when you're dating, you talk about different things, what your boundaries are when you're communicating with each other. But if you're not everybody writes everything down, unless you have a prenuptial agreement. But we have I
jotted these notes down for the Islamic term for it, right? It's called nikah muta. It's an Arabic term that translates to pleasure marriage. It refers to a temporary marriage contract. The word muta means pleasure. The contract is set for a period of time and requires a male partner to pay the female partner financial compensation. The couple can agree to end the contract and either or get married, part ways, or start a new contract. So
Yeah, I just looked that up. So any children from that relationship go with the father. No
I'm sorry,
extension.
repeat
It says any children from a muta union go with the father.
that.
No extension
Absolutely.
is permitted, but cohabitation may be resumed if a new agreement is reached with new compensation for the woman.
Exactly. Here it is. Now, some folks will probably think about this and say that's, oh my God, that's barbaric. But honestly, I believe that that's transparency. Like the guy is saying exactly what he's willing to pay. It's up to you to agree to the terms and the compensation part. I think that's completely transparent, right? But here in the States, and I'm more than sure across the pond in some areas where these people are entering these relationships for pleasure, but not saying it. You know
Well,
what I'm saying?
we have similar relationships here. It's a sugar daddy relationship
I
with
didn't
there's
want to see you, ladies and
compensation.
gentlemen. I know Coach D was going to say it.
Well, we're going to be honest. There's plenty of relationships that we have that have contracts, whether written or unwritten, like friends with
Absolutely.
benefits or side folks, right? Those all have unspoken rules, right?
Exactly.
So it's not like this is new. As long as there's been people, different contracts about relationships.
Right, right, right.
It's just a
I
matter
found I
of
found that interesting, man. I found that interesting about actually about the Islamic faith. I found that quite interesting. And I was like, wow, I wonder if a ton of my friends know this. So as I reached out, they really wasn't aware of this. It really is a sugar daddy type situation. It really is. But when you have a contract in place, every honesty is on the table. You understand what I'm saying? Honesty is completely on the table when you have a contract in place. I'm totally for that because that speaks transparency. And here in the States, I know, and you know, and everybody else know, people run from transparency. People run from honesty. But I have no problem with temporary contracts if that's what you want. Again, for me, I'm into purposeful relationships. If it's not serving a purpose, I'm not interested. Ursula's come through. Let's bring Ursula and we're gonna introduce. Well, she already. Everybody know the conversation know Ursula, so let's bring Ursula through. Ursula, what's going on?
Hi guys, how y'all doing? Hey Coach D, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm
On
great
Sunday.
actually. I'm great. How's your
Yeah.
son?
He is fabulous. He's downstairs playing video games.
Good.
He's in hog heaven. He's in hog heaven with that.
Hey Trent.
What's going on, baby? What's going on?
Hey.
Oh, Brenda said something. We'll get into what Sir's talking about as well. Let's get Brenda real quick.
There's a couple comments about her too. Just
Okay.
saw something that states that weak people choose pleasure, strong people chase purpose. What are your thoughts on this?
You can go
Well,
ahead and take that.
Here's the thing. I don't consider people who chase pleasure to be weak because as humans, we need dopamine and serotonin and all those feel-good emotions. Otherwise, we as human beings end up in a depressive cycle. So if they're chasing pleasure, there's a reason for it.
Right. Now you're coming in hot with the coaching. Explain to the folks what those things are. I know what you're speaking of, but tell them exactly what that is, what you were just saying.
What? The
What you were
feel-good
talking
chemicals.
I'm sorry.
I just said the feel-good chemicals.
Gotcha.
Dopamine
Exactly.
and serotonin.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So if they're chasing that, then there's usually a reason for it, right? Because we as human beings require dopamine and serotonin and those to properly function.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I don't agree with that. Weak people chase pleasure.
I wouldn't. You know what? I don't agree with that either. I think that honestly, and I can see Brenda's point to that when she's saying weak people chase pleasure. I think, and I'm going on a whim with this because she's been following for quite some time on the conversation. So I think her mindset is a lot of people are weak behind pleasurable things, whether it be monetary, whether it be sexual, and all that stuff. So that is a weak and guilty pleasure at some point. Wouldn't you agree?
Brenda, can you give us clarification because I don't like so that we're not putting words in your mouth. But here's the thing.
Go ahead.
People like to use weakness as though it's a fault. Right? Strength is like this, oh my God, we always have to be strong. No. Weakness is something that you should to be vulnerable. Right? We tend to look at weakness as a bad thing, but we need it as human beings.
Right.
Right? If you're always strong and resilient, then you're not allowing yourself to experience all your emotions. Because it's not possible to be strong and brilliant 100% of the time.
Exactly. 1 second here before we get to Urs. I see my niece there. Share me out of Houston, Texas. That's my niece. I see you. Appreciate your love.
Right. Alvin said good day. Cassie said communication is key. Grown folks do not play games, but unfortunately they do. If you want pleasure, say so. If you want something more than that, then say so. Slash said,
okay. You see Al Salad? I don't see Al Sal. You see him?
Al said hi. Yeah.
Oh, okay. What up, Al? Okay.
Slash says, we renew it every 2 or 4 years. And then we just read Brenda. And then Slash says, also, it ain't tricking if you got it. Slash, can we use English, please, sir? Because I can't translate, sir. Ayo, Mr. Epic, the high value men with this.
If you got it. It's not tricking, meaning if you have it and I'm giving it to you, I'm not tricking. I'm supplying your needs, your pleasurable needs.
I don't know, because he says high value men would just lease a bride for 36 months. What is a high value man, sir?
Elaborate on that, Slash. Let's get to Urs real quick. So what was your thoughts, Urs, when I called you and told you what was going on with this topic here?
I think my thoughts were, So we think about, it's two things to unpack. Like, I think a purposeful for how long? Like, is it a contract? Is it really like purposeful? I think that the part that you really need to unpack is it purposeful for a day, 3 days, 6 months? And if you decide to end the purposeful relationship or whatever, can you go somewhere else and try to get into another purposeful relationship? And do you kind of scurry back to the one that was working better? That's the
well, speaking of, since I brought the Islamic type of situation on it, it's very detailed in their contract. Like, there's a term in it, and at the end of that term, you could be renewed. You could renew, or start it over again, or go into the next one.
Okay, going to the next one. I'm going into the next one, but let's just say I want to scurry back to the old one because the next one.
It all depends on the terms that you agree upon. If you have a circle back clause. If you have a circle back clause.
Yeah, because how many people circle back? If we had to statistically, Coach D, think on people that I wish I could have done things differently.
Oh, about 75% of people. But here's the thing. An X should stay an X. They're an X for a reason.
And there we go.
I'm just being honest, because here's the thing.
You're absolutely true. I truly believe that an X should be an X for a reason. Everything went wrong for a reason. But we do have people that circle back. We definitely do have people that circle back. And honestly, to be honest with you, some people circle back for that pleasure. I've seen the situation where some people circle back for that pleasure.
I disagree.
It's comfortable. First of all, when you circle back, it's comfortable to you. You actually, after leaving that relationship, I find, when I was actually coaching, when I was coaching many moons ago, I find that women and men circle back for all the wrong reasons. When they went on, when they moved and pushed on too fast, and when that didn't work, they hit that bump in the road, they bumped their heads, they're going to circle back to what they used to. Coach D, pick up, and I know where you're going with that one. I knew you won't come in with that one. They're going to pick up to what they used to. And what is that called? Telephone.
If they're circling back, they haven't moved on.
Boom.
Or did they move on too quickly? Did they think, I'm sure I can do better?
Even when a person, in my opinion, even when a person move on too quickly, they still haven't moved on. They're still
You know
stuck.
what I think? Not to interrupt you, I'm gonna just say this. You know what I think? I think
Yeah.
oftentimes people have a tendency, and it's just a thing in being human, that we have a tendency to look in other people's yard, or we have a tendency to look over the gate too much and see what's going on outside of our own situation. Like, I think, and it's typically common among African American people, I think, but not just us, where people you do have a tendency to look in other. Oh, look at my neighbor he have the 750. I wonder if they got a 1200.
Let me get clarification on them when you're saying. So, are you saying that that's the catalyst to everything in the African American community as far as relationships? When they move on, we're always looking for something better. Is that what you're saying? We're looking for something. We're looking at our neighbor saying, "Oh wow, I want some of that."
I use that formula that we're looking
like
at our neighbors, but I do think that we're still seeking, like honestly, the truth, you should never stop growing in some sense.
True.
But I think when you get into a contract with somebody, you gotta learn how to grow together.
I got you. I got a couple of questions for the folks. I got a couple of questions for the folks, but let's get to the comments real quick, Coach D. Get these guys caught up, and then we'll get to these comments.
Slash said Janet Jackson was in a similar type marriage, and Alvin said, "I'm not renewing a damn thing."
I'm with Alvin.
Sal, I see you, brother. That's that big Will syndrome right there. That's that big Will syndrome. You ain't doing shit.
I'm not getting in it to begin with, so I'm not even worried about it. But here's the thing: too often, people and social media is really. People are really bad when it comes to social media because they see images of what these perfect couples look like, but it's just a photo, and most of them are very managed. So people are like, "Oh, that's a gold relationship," and then you find out later that he was beating her the whole time, right?
Exactly.
Because people will take a picture and they're like, "That's what I want to be like," without looking at what they have and figuring out how they can make what they have better.
Yes. Right. I agree.
Now let's circle back to Slash's comment because he actually picked up on something. Right. So Janet Jackson was, and I would love to know this brother's nationality and his faith, because she had a similar contract in place, like where she got $200 million at the 10-year mark, and if she had a kid, she get an extra $1 million. She walked away fat, real fat. Not only did she get the money, the $200 million. She got the kid in the process.
You act like Janet Jackson don't got no money.
She do, but not his money.
That's crazy.
First of all, the guy was able to actually give that to her because he's a multi-billionaire. A billionaire. She ain't got that kind of money. Let's keep it a buck now.
If she got 180 million, she's not broke.
No, she's not broke at all. She barely broke. She's not broke at all. So let's get to these questions real quick. I jotted these notes down. I didn't want to forget, this condition. Wink, wink, nod, nod. But anyway, so look. The questions we got here coming up. One sec. Go ahead, Ernst, while I look for my questions jotted down.
How do you, we walk a fine line. How do you, it's a fine line. It really is. Because, you say purposeful, it can kind of borderline. I don't know how Coach D feel about what I'm about to say. It can kind of borderline like people feeling used in some sense. Like, you was
when
just
you say purposeful.
Yeah, because it's people could feel used because it's not like a forever. It's you here for this purpose right now. I could always trade you, like I seen one of the comments said.
It depends on how you guys look at purpose, right? It depends on how you guys look at purpose, right? In order for me to want a fruitful and purposeful relationship, I have to know exactly where I'm going.
Okay.
I have to know exactly where I'm going. I have to know my travel. I have to know my journey. I have to know my value. So I'm going to choose someone who's on a purposeful path themselves. So once we communicate, we can connect. You follow what I'm saying? So if she's on a purposeful path and I see it, I can see it, we're going to make this work. We're going to rock with this.
Okay.
We're going to definitely rock with this. So it's not a thing about using. And this is the problem that I have with Americanized women when they think purpose. It's not about, I'm not using you for anything.
I see your point. You're right.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
I see
Good
your
stuff.
point.
Hey,
It can be looked at both ways. It really technically can be looked at both ways. Because if it is like somebody that's a billionaire in Janet Jackson case, I'm standing to gain too.
that was a pleasurable situation. Now, I totally
I
believe,
don't know.
I
I
totally
don't know.
believe after Slash brought that up, that was a transactional situation along with the pleasurable contract.
Right.
You
Right.
can't say that. You don't weren't in their relationship.
She's not no more. She divorced that guy.
That
People
doesn't mean
need
it
to
wasn't,
split up.
doesn't mean it wasn't purposeful.
After she had the baby, she divorced that guy. The baby with her.
It doesn't mean it wasn't purposeful though, because we can't look outside. We can't
It
look
was for a
at
purpose.
relationships.
It definitely was for a purpose. Get that money. So let's get to the comments real quick. Let's get to the comments real quick. Then we'll get to the questions here.
Slash says an upgrade. Martine says, "Hi y'all, I'm supposed to be asleep." Slash says, "Not everyone is at the end of the road, so it's a natural reaction to wander. If he was Arabic, he was a price.
Absolutely.
I tell you." And Alvin says, "You hit on the head." Listen, let's be very careful about discussing religions and cultures that we are not a part of.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. So let's get to the question here, right? Here's a question for you ladies and the audience here, right? What does love with a purpose mean? What does love with a purpose mean? Coach D, you go first.
I don't think you should put purpose and love together.
Really?
Yeah, because I told you at the beginning, I said this sounds very transactional. I don't think love and purpose go together.
Here's what I think, right?
Because you can love somebody without a purpose.
Here's what I think. Purposeful love requires us to be intentional, deliberate in our relationships. It means taking the time to understand our own purpose and values, like I said before, right? As well as those of our partner. That means that I have to understand Ursula if I really want to be in a fruitful, purposeful relationship with her. I have to understand, I have to be willing to be open to accept her purpose and say, hey, listen, we could work these purposes together and have a fruitful relationship to eternity. Period.
Okay, so what's the purpose? Their purpose means that there's something that is an end result. So what's the end result?
Creating a shared vision for the future. If you're gonna be my partner, we're gonna create a shared vision for the future. That takes purpose, right? That takes purpose. If we communicate, we know where we're going. You know I've reached the highest love of myself. I see you've reached the highest love of yourself. That is the perfect woman for me. Let's go get this. Let's create this purposeful relationship and build on it together.
It's not possible to reach your highest level because they don't know what that is.
A lot of people don't, but I know. Come on.
Well, I'm gonna interject and say, that's why it's good to check in as often as possible. Because if you're trying to do your best and your partner's trying to do their best to be purposeful towards the union, commitment, and what they stand to bring to each other lives,
absolutely.
I think you can find purpose. I do think that's how some people do stay together for maybe 45 or 50 years, which those relationships are extinct in some sense now, as it relates to our age, because we swap so quickly. But the people who didn't do this and really my parents are still living there more than 50 years in. And I really do believe it's like it's not just, I hate to use the word obligation, but it's almost like I can't depend on nobody to meet these purposes or these requirements that he or she needs in order to go to where they're trying to go. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. Let's keep it 100, like Slash and I always talking about on the podcast. Let's keep it 100. 9 times out of 10, in most cases, the average couple, the average people, right?
Mm-hmm.
They don't think nothing about purpose. They'll always think purpose. Wait, is he using me? Is she using me? That's not what purpose is.
No.
That's not what purpose is.
No.
9 times out of 10, they're going into these relationships for pleasure. How I know? Because I did it. My second
Right.
marriage, I went in for pleasure. It looked
Right.
good on paper. We were making money. I owned the studio. She flew to work
Right.
Monday through
Right.
Thursday. Just doing well over
Right.
7 figures. Well
Right.
over. That it looked good on paper. That relationship only lasted 10 years
Right.
because it was doomed from the start. Because honestly, it was a temporary contract.
Right.
It looked good for us on paper. We look good, great as a couple on paper.
Right.
Coach D was that around in those days. I was when that situation went south, I came crashing.
That's
I
crazy, but I
came
get it.
crashing down. From the seventh hole on the golf course, 3-car garage, foreign cars, and all that stuff, to an apartment in West Bloomfield. Now, a lot of people from Michigan will say, "Oh, West Bloomfield, that's the ton thing." Yeah, it was a good apartment, but it wasn't what I used to. I wasn't used to that.
Right.
I was used to that
Right.
seventh hole of a golf course, walking out of my backyard, going to play golf.
Right.
But all that stuff came crashing down because I went in for pleasure, for the
Right.
pleasure of, for the pleasure of monetary things, and that's
Right.
not good. So I'm speaking from experience, past experiences.
Let me
Right.
get caught up with the comments. Alvin said, "You hit on the head, Ursula." Martine asked who the guy Janet Jackson was married to. Brenda said, "To me, it can mean that you are looking for things outside of yourself to make you feel better instead of looking within, trusting in God and help you discover your purpose, which should fulfill you." Martine says, "Right, it doesn't sound right. Purpose and love. It's sort of like agendas."
Exactly,
That
Martine. You're
makes
gonna have to
sense.
go back. Martine, you're gonna have to go back to the show and how I define purpose until you get it. I knew, and the reason I wrote it up like this, because I knew that most people would gravitate toward the negative aspect of a purpose.
Uh-huh. The low
That's what
vibration.
talk is about. Exactly.
The low
That's
vibration.
what talk is about. I wrote that on purpose, and you guys,
Yeah.
Martine, you followed me for almost a couple of decades here. You knew exactly what I was doing. I'm sure. Like everybody gravitate toward the negative thing. Oh,
Right.
he's about to use me. That's not.
That's
what
the
purpose is
first thing
about.
I said. I'm like, I feel so used.
Exactly. That's not what purpose
Flash
is about.
says, many
feel
things
so
look good on. Flash says, many things look good on paper. Contracts look good on paper. Mr. Epic, at that stage in life, did you know your purpose?
The only purpose I knew, I loved the stage. I loved to entertain people. I loved to travel and all that stuff. I looked past what I was doing. I looked past it because that pleasure, I wanted that pleasure. I looked past my purpose because I wanted that pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
Well, here's a
All my
question.
interest in the studio and everything because I wanted that pleasure.
Well, here's the question: should all relationships have contracts?
I totally agree. With this frame of mind, with these average women, hell yeah. Be honest with you.
Not to interrupt, but I kind of think unknowingly they do. Because this is how, if you think about it, what's the divorce rate today versus like if we go back 10, 20, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, what's the divorce rate? I'm sure right now is high. Even if they don't talk about contracts, and people get upset when people say, what's that contractual marriage? Prenup. You know what I'm saying? I honestly think we could come up with something similar to a prenup, because when people stop meeting your needs or the needs of why we first got together, like honestly, the truth, you could have totally different values or beliefs than somebody with raising kids. And y'all don't agree on the same. And so it don't work. You know what I'm saying? Like, honestly, a woman or a man can get like, oh, I got a promotion at work. Oh, babe, this is good. We get more, we're fiscally more, we're able to engage more fiscally. But then she may say, I like the fiscal autonomy we have, but I don't like the amount of time you spend away from the kids. And this is not what I bargained for. Like this, not even bargain. This is not what I got.
Coach Day, I have a question for you from Taylor Kennedy platform in a private messaging there, right? You're talking about an ex reaching out to him after 14 years. After 14 years. And
what are they reaching out for?
He feels like because there was no men who was actually reaching up to what he used to be to her in her life. after 14 years. This is a message from the private Taylor Kennedy group on streaming over on TaylorKennedy.com.
What
But
is it?
14 years.
All right, so are they
She's
reaching
circling
out in
back after
friendship
14
or are they
years.
reaching out in a relationship? Are they?
So he's asking you, what should he do?
I
Who's
don't know what the
asking me?
message says. What does the
Oh, yeah.
message say?
Hold on a second. I'm
You need
trying
to
to
know the
read you
message.
without giving out names, right? So he says, what about your ex after 14 years? Look you up because there's no men out there that she's going back to is what she's used to. Meaning she's going back to what she's used to. Meaning she's coming back to him because that's what she's used to.
There's plenty of men out there. There's something else going on there.
I won't comment on that. I won't comment.
There's something else going on. Like they're reaching out after 14 years. What did the message say? Because that message says a lot. But without knowing the message, I don't know if they're just going, "Hey, how's it going?"
No, it wasn't how's it definitely wasn't how's it going. It was how you doing? What's going on with you? Are you involved? Type situation.
Okay, well, see now you're leaking little bits of information. So
who they asking about?
Yeah, if somebody's
hey, listen, he's on the Taylor Kennedy platform. Hey, give her some more information so she could dissect that situation for you.
Like,
I won't call names. I won't call names. Yeah. We'll just give her the details.
How did the relationship end? That's a key factor. Like, was there something happened where there was a disagreement and they just went their separate ways? Did somebody cheat? Did they?
You heard it. How did it end?
I need
send in a message and I'll relay it.
All right.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Give me more information. I'll be able to help you out, sir.
Good stuff.
My first instinct is to.
I'm sorry.
Huh? What'd you say?
Go ahead, Ursula.
No, what you said, Urs?
I said, are they directing a question to somebody? They just what?
Well, they're on the Taylor Kennedy platform. We stream on multiple platforms, so they're on our platform, and it said I have this private message where they could actually reach me.
Oh, okay.
And I always want to respect them, and because that's what that Urs. The gumbo talk. Everybody's not as transparent as us and open as us. So
hey, I respect everybody's privacy, dude. Like
I try to keep them at a minimum, and I encourage them to go to the Taylor Kennedy platform and just talk directly to me or Coach D, and they'll be able to get their answers done by people.
I want to respond to that question. I want to respond. But I want us to do the show, and then I want to respond to whatever's happening over there.
Okay, sound good.
I want to respond to.
We got a couple of comments coming in real quick. Okay. These folks we really appreciate you guys engaging like that. This is good stuff, man.
Good show tonight. It's really a good show.
Yeah, it's real good.
Saying, lots of people paying for all the wrong reasons. If you only have a few $1,000s and own a few things, there should still be a prenuptial agreement in place. Slash says the Bible suggests that a man's purpose is to glorify God and enjoy Him forever. This can be accompanied by living a life of faithful servant and relationship with God. Not everybody believes in God, sir. So we'll keep that going. Martine says, I've heard that if you get married and are married for 10 years or more, whether you listed other as a beneficiary of that spouse, get your pension. Mm-hmm. It depends on the state.
Depends on the state, but the majority of states, you're in it for 10 years, you get that money.
Yeah. And so I says, AKA, she wants that old thing back, plain and simple, wants and needs. Here's the thing. When it comes back to somebody hitting you up after 14 years. So Trent hit me up because he wanted me to talk on the thing. And I'm like, what does this boy want? So I was like, I'll hear him out. If somebody hits you up and you dated them for an extended period of time and they ghost you and then they come back after 14 years, you have to find out why. What's the why behind why they're hitting you up?
Let's circle back. Let's circle back on what Coach D said, because I'm going to give you guys some backstory on that and some content on how transparent we are on the conversation, right? So Shannon, who's a host on the show as well, she's been on vacation. She'll be back in Jamaica. I think she found her deck to St. Jacques, but that's not my business. But anyway, so Shannon.
It's so disrespectful. Now you know that is not part of this show tonight. Now
hey, she's over there on Instagram. She's on Instagram. She's following. So I see her over there.
Herself and you
she's enjoying herself, getting a groove back. So getting tan and peeled skin and all that good stuff. So
Just talk.
Shannon, before Coach D came on, Shannon, she was into the shameless plug, chapter the Delta, and she's responsible for the resurgence in the book sales of this book. Shannon, my dear, I truly appreciate you for the resurgence of this book. But anyway, it's selling in Barnes & Noble, all that stuff still to this day, 13, 14 years later. So Shannon challenged me. She said, can Romello get one of his exes to come on the show? I said, not only can Romello get one of his exes to come on the show, but I can get her to coach on the show. So she challenged me. So she still owe me. You still owe me a dinner, Shannon. So I called Coach D. Coach D is a trauma coach. And I say, D. And D, every time I call her, she'll pick up on the first ring. Even though she's in the background, what does he want?
Mm-hmm.
But she loved me. She loved me, and I love her. So I asked her to come on. Knock it off. I asked her to come on. i.e., 3 years later, she's here coaching. This is her platform as well. Thanks, Coach D. I love you.
Mm-hmm.
Shannon said it couldn't happen. She said it wouldn't happen. But here we go. So, but again, what'd you say?
That's because she didn't know me.
There you go. There you go. She didn't know. Well, Shannon, I set you up because I knew she was going to say yes.
So where does Coach D fit into your channel of exes? Because obviously you've been married. How many times?
I've been married twice. The first marriage was I was very young, with a girl from San Francisco, and the second wife from Michigan and whatnot, what have you. Coach D, the lovely Coach D, is a Canadian, and we've had some wonderful times in Canada and spent a lot of time together. She's cooked a lot of pastry stuff for me. I've always cooked for her. Actually, I call Chef Lightning, Black Lightning Trucking from Black Lightning Trucking. That's who actually taught me how to cook and cook Coach D some meals when we were dating. So yeah, it was a good relationship. It didn't end toxic. She actually ghosted me.
Mm-hmm. I did.
Why?
Because I was doing stuff in the military, and I was done.
Respect.
She literally ghosted me. So when she came back to the show, I had to exercise. A lot of folks know now that I had a memory loss with the blame, the bleed,
Right.
in the brain.
Right.
So I thought I did something. I was so toxic in my younger years. I'm like, I don't know if I heard her or not, but I was kind of cautious and reluctant to call her because I didn't know if I heard her. So when she picked up, I was like, hey, what's up? And I started talking about it. She's like, oh, you're going back to broadcast? We called it broadcasting back in the day. I said, yeah, I'm going back to podcast. And I said, hey, would you come on? I said, but let me ask you a question before you answer that. I said, what happened? What went on? What went on in our relationship? She said, you don't know. I said, yeah, the bleeding brain kind of got me foggy. So she said, I ghost you, sir. I paused for like 5 minutes. I'm like, did she just say to me?
Did you really ghost him, bro? And you took accountability for that?
We've always had a very transparent friendship because it was always a friendship. We remain friends. When I tell you that's my solid friend, no hanky-panky type situation, that's my friend.
You know what I like about all of this, what y'all saying, that I love relationships or friendships or whatever you call ships. I like ships when you can recognize what you bring to each other. And if I ghost you for 4 years, I know I could come back and pick up where I left off.
And honestly, I didn't think nothing of it. I had my Denzel moment when she told it to me. I can't believe she did this to me. I had my Denzel moment for half a minute, but that was it. But it was all good.
Coach D, listen, asterisk by picking up where we left off. Because here's the thing. Sometimes I gotta just not talk to people to keep my sanity intact. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I get it.
And
Coach D, we got that message coming for you. That message came in.
I am all for removing toxic people from our lives. If you need a break, take a break.
Here's to our wonderful viewer on the Taylor Kennedy platform. We truly appreciate you guys. TaylorKennedy.com. TaylorKennedy.com is the spot. The conversation is back, all in France and, of course, Canada and all that good stuff. We're back on internationally now. So good stuff here. So he is, Coach D says, I asked her why she's reaching out. She told me she wanted to talk. I went over to her house Enough said.
It ain't nothing.
You didn't hear what I just said?
I heard what he said. He went over to our house. Okay.
And he said
And that
enough
was
said.
it.
So
Okay.
apparently she wanted him over. And he said enough said. That's how it ended.
So they're friends with benefits?
Viewer, are you guys friends with benefits?
I have concerns. Actually,
Why is that sounds like a very purposeful, pleasurable situation going on.
purposeful. Honestly, though, truthfully, whoever this viewer is, I don't know if saying prayerfully is the right word. Hopefully that whatever happened that made them fall apart, that they have learned how to work past that, area so that they can be successful in their terms going forward. Because here's the thing, the whole thing is
not to cut you off, Ernst, not to cut you off. Stop the press real quick. The T and Taylor Kennedy media is on. This is a proud moment for me. That's my baby. That's my oldest baby. Hey, Tay. Daddy see you and Daddy love you. That's a very proud moment for me.
Okay. Hey, Tay.
You remember Tay? Tay was like what, 4 years old when you met her, something like that.
Who's the baby?
Kennedy. Taylor's the oldest.
Oh, okay. I never met Taylor.
You met Taylor at one of those parties, more than sure, at G Money's house, at Greg's house, the parties at Greg's place in Dawn's.
At Dawn's. Yeah. She probably was at Dawn's before.
The real beautiful, real pretty one with the long hair. That's my baby, man. That's my baby.
I know, but Kennedy is who I met, right?
Yeah, Kennedy as well. Yeah.
Kennedy was a beautiful girl when I met her. I wanted to steal her.
Yeah, that's my little black princess.
Pick her in.
That's my little black princess, and Taylor's my little light-skinned princess.
Yeah.
Taylor has my mentality about everything.
Sir, you just
always Go ahead, I'm
They're
sorry.
both black. Boy.
They're black, but
no. We're not doing
Taylor's
that.
your color, but they're both black, but Taylor's your color. But Alvin always teased me about Taylor. She has my mentality all the way. So yeah, that's my baby. That's my baby. That's my big baby.
I never really met Taylor, but I do remember Kennedy.
Yeah.
All right, let me get some comments in. Slash said, "What's a girl like you doing on this beautiful island all alone?" I think that's Kashan. Martine says, "I had a few guys reach out to me after several years because nothing worked out for them. I don't want them either. They told me they don't want to be alone." And Martine saying hi to Shan. Then Slash says, "Ghosting, which is when somebody suddenly stops off communication without explanation or warning, is generally considered a form of toxic behavior that could be hurtful and confusing." Yeah, I told you that. Martine says, "I don't backstroke." Well, I haven't. Yeah, so here's the thing. My concern, if somebody's reaching out after 14 years, are they reaching out because it's the person that got away?
Guys, breaking news. This guy is really engaging with us on the Taylor Kennedy platform. Really appreciate you guys. Anybody want to go on with the private messages, head over to taylorkennedy.com. You'll be able to message me or Coach D privately. But here we go. He says, now she's in her feelings. What do I do?
So you had sex without any true communication. Well, sir, this is what he said. Enough said, right? He went over. They had sex. Now she's in her feelings because it's somebody that she's been with before. They haven't communicated anything about the relationship, and now he's wondering what. Should he stay? Should he leave?
He's saying, what should he do? He's saying, what should he do?
He's gonna be in his feelings in a little while too.
She's in her feelings. So what should he do?
That's a
conversation.
Wait, what'd you say, D?
Have a conversation. Tell her exactly what he is not willing to do. If he's not willing to be in a relationship, then tell her. Straight up front.
Urs, I want you to elaborate because you said you wanted to speak on the viewer. So go ahead and speak on it.
So like I said, when you it's Pandora's box. Once you open it, everybody, you
close it. You cannot close it.
Yeah, you can't close. You know what I'm saying? And so then Like why we broke up at first. Now we back having to. When you break up with somebody and then y'all rekindle something, why we broke up? Let's how do you? The next thing is the first big next question is how do we not end up back there again?
Right.
Because like you're gonna be in your feelings, like, but he probably kind of still young. You know what I'm saying?
And here's a teachable moment very early. Normally, Coach D and I get to the teachable moment about 5 minutes into, but here's a teachable moment for those people who circling back. You have to know exactly what you can accept when you go on circling back, and for pleasure, you have to know exactly what you're getting into.
Right.
If you've been with this person for 20, 30 years, and y'all been apart for 14 years, you know exactly what this person's capable of.
Yeah.
So if it's pleasure, get naked and put it on the table. When I say get naked and put it on the table, place all your stuff on the table. Tell them what you expect. If not, you're going to be one of those, what should I do?
See, let me just say this. Let me interrupt. I'm sorry. Here's the thing.
Right.
That circling back is tricky. Don't circle back unless you know unless you're willing to address what happened. Don't circle back. Circle back, but be careful. Because circling back is only going to create whatever happened before times 3.
We got to be honest, and we always keep it 100 here on the conversation, and Coach D and I be completely, along with Shan, we straight transparent. Circling back for that ooh, that ooh can get you ooh.
It don't get easier. It get worse. If you don't grow up,
it's gonna get worse.
Yeah. It's like go ahead.
Especially if he whooping it good, you're gonna be serious in your feelings that if he whooping it good, it's a problem. It's a serious problem.
Now, especially if he whipping it good. And he is on the platform saying that she is in her feelings. But he gonna be in his feelings too. Let me tell you something.
What you think? You think so?
Yeah. People don't tangle by themselves. You don't go lay down in the bed and tighten up your muscles by yourself. You got a purpose for a reason why you're doing your Kegels, okay?
Hold on a second. Coach D, is your microphone loud? Because Xavier, is he still downstairs playing games?
He's fine.
Okay, gotcha.
We can't hear you.
Feelings too.
Gotcha. So, and that's another thing, right? That's another thing. So, even for the person who didn't get into their feelings, you have to ask yourself, why did you allow that circle back?
Yeah.
Why did you allow that person to circle back? What do you think about that, Coach D? Let's put some coaching into it. Why did he allow her to circle back?
Because it was going to be easy. Let's be honest. Let's be totally transparent. It's very easy to get a little something if somebody's hitting you up. Right?
Right.
So that's why she's all in his feelings, because it was easy to do. It was, somebody jumped in bed with you.
I had this kind before I know what I mean. I know what kind. I had this kind of brownie before I know exactly how it tastes.
Here's the last comment. He's the last comment for you guys. He's really engaged, and I really appreciate you, viewer. He's really engaged. He said that this is the last word. She told him he effed her. And I can't say the word because we're streaming on multiple platforms. She told him he effed her and made love to her all at the same time, and now she's confused. Her words, not his.
What's she confused about? It was one night. She called up an old boyfriend, they had sex. There's nothing to be confused about. It's not a relationship.
Maybe she got confused about being effed and made love at the same time.
That happens every day to somebody. So I mean, that ain't nothing. In different races.
Coach D, I don't know why I'm thinking on Apple Podcasts. I think this is going to be the #1 show. I'm loving this.
Look. Not only do that happen in different races, it happened with the LGBTQ community. It happens everywhere. Over and over again. That's what happens. It happens.
Listen, here's what you got to do. It's already messy because there obviously wasn't communication. Otherwise, she would be in her feelings.
Right.
One of two things got to happen. He's either got to cut it off now, or if they want to get into a relationship, have a sit-down conversation with all their clothes on in a public area, so nothing's going to happen. So there's no mistakes. and figure this out.
Right, right.
He gonna be in his feelings too. That's case short.
Listen,
In short, he gonna be in his
he wouldn't
feelings.
be reaching out if he wasn't in his feelings.
Let's get to the
We'd already
folks
know
on YouTube. Let's get to the folks on YouTube real quick.
I got some comments. 1 second here. Where'd I leave off? Martin, no, slash. My ex-insurance agent and his wife divorced 10 to 20 years later. He won her heart back and they remarried. Now they're happily ever after. One of the handful of love stories. Martin says maybe that's why they're thinking the one who got away, spinning the block. Slash says my mind's telling me no, but my body keeps telling me yes. I don't want to hurt nobody, but I must confess I don't see nothing wrong with a little bump and grind. Martin says I don't have any of the guys that I
Slash coming with the R. Kelly quote.
Laugh with. And Kenya says I love that Ursula Johnson's so real and authentic. I love you. We all love Ursula. So you know what?
We definitely do.
You're both grown adults. Get tested first because STD rates are atrociously high. But
Absolutely.
you know, no matter what we tell you, you're going to do what you want to do.
Right.
Right. So I can give you advice and say, hey, you need to think about this. Sit down, have a conversation before you do anything, and figure out where you need to go from there. But
exactly.
You know what's going to happen. They're going to go over. They're going to Netflix and chill and say, well, screw what Coach D said. I'm going to do me, and bada boom, bada bing. Everybody's all got their hearts all messed up now because everybody got all up in their feelings.
Exactly. So would you guys say that was a purpose or pleasure? Was that situation for purpose or pleasure?
Pleasure.
The purpose was pleasure.
Yeah, pleasure.
Please stop using purpose as a negative word, please. All that coaching I just did in the front of the show, you gonna come back and still say purpose is negative?
I said that purpose was pleasure.
Oh, that purpose. I got you.
You better pay attention, sir. So, do you, but be aware of how messy it could get quickly.
Right.
If you don't communicate about what's going on, and if she's already in the feelings after one night, then she was probably already in feelings beforehand.
Oh, Shan's over there on Instagram saying, "Hey, Erson, Coach D."
Hey, Shan.
The Island girl over there saying, "Hey, she'll be back
Where's
next
Dexter?
week."
Where's Dexter?
Hopefully, she's not going to Denmark somewhere.
Sunscreen love. I thought you'd get some aloe vera on that skin so you can get rid of that burn.
What'd you say, Coach D?
I told her to put some aloe vera on. That's how her skin is peeling.
Okay, guys. Oh, she's multitasking it. You don't even multi on a show like that, Shan. So you're off and you want just multitask. She's on multiple platforms there. There she go right there on YouTube now. Even everyone.
Like you said, two people need to be on the same page, same time. Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely.
I agree. If the gentleman would like to email me, he can email me. Send him my email, and we can have a conversation later. We can discuss it more thoroughly.
Gotcha.
But, it is. That situation is going to get messy very quickly if she's already in her feelings.
Right.
This is a warning.
Right. And in the end, I truly believe that he's going to end up in his feelings as well, because I'm still going back to, if he allowed the circle back, he allowed that circle back for a reason.
Can I say something?
Go ahead.
Sure.
Here's the thing.
Raise your hand.
Yeah. So here's the thing. So they circle back. She in her feelings, and he now she in her feelings. But what happens when whatever her guilty pleasure or purposeful person or whatever is hanging around, and he's trying to check it out, and now she can't respond the way. See what I'm saying? And that's when you know. Now we not in a purposeful. It's no pleasure. It's nothing. Because here's the thing: when you take a pacifier out of a whining baby mouth, they cry. And so it's about keeping a baby quiet. Nobody don't want to hear that.
Did you get that visual as well?
You know what I'm saying?
I got you.
As long as she available, but one of her friends gonna get to her and tell her stop being so available to him, and she will get it, and then he's gonna be upset. You know what I'm saying? I hope our friend tell me that today too, so he can get in his feelings. And I got nothing but respect for that man. I don't know who he is, but sometimes
The last thing he's speaking on monetary things, and he's financially comfortable, and she needed some financial help as well. So I think the situation was transactional as well. But I wouldn't call it an all the way transactional situation because they've
right.
been
So
knowing
she hit him up. Did she hit him?
decades on decades.
Did she hit up for money before or after they had sex?
Nah, he like knowing him, he offered. When he saw the need, he took care of it.
But how did he find out about the need? Was that before or after?
Hold on. How do you find about the
I
need?
need to talk to him myself. Let me get some comments. Slash says, you come into love not by finding the right person, but by serving an imperfect person perfectly, by seeing an imperfect person perfectly.
Exactly. Let's get to Keena. Hey, beautiful. How you doing?
He says he would definitely be in his feelings because he wanted it too.
Mm.
Yeah, and Martine says, sounds like the guy's fronting on how he really feels. So here's the thing. We already know she's already in a group chat with her girls. And the delegation will decide what happens next. Right?
So are you saying, wait a minute, hold on a second. Are you really having these women take accountability for influencing this woman on what to do with that situation? Is that Coach D saying that?
No, Coach D is saying that she knows that she is chatting with her girlfriends about what happened and how she feels.
Okay.
Because we do that. I do
it's
that.
Still after the hour. So on
You
Instagram, you guys are going to lose us here in a minute. You're going to lose us in a minute. But if you guys are on Instagram, head over to YouTube and continue to check us out. I see the beautiful Keena's on the Facebook there.
Hey, Keena.
Truly appreciate you guys supporting the Taylor Kennedy platform. She made my night. My baby made my night. Taylor, I love you. Daddy'll see you soon, real soon. Have fun on your trip, on your birthday getaway. Be safe. I love you. Good stuff.
Where's she going?
Go ahead.
Where's she going for her trip?
Oh, she's going to Aruba. Girls trip. Her birthday was June 2nd, and her girlfriend's gonna go at a timely time, that fits her schedule. So she's going over to Aruba.
And Keena said he's supposed to, as a man, he should know what a woman needs without asking. No, you need to know. You need to ask. You need to communicate. Communication is key. Martine says trying to keep his distance in case it doesn't pop off. And then Keena said, hey, Ursula.
Good stuff.
And Shan said, nice, Aruba, woo, 2 Geminis.
Absolutely, Geminis. The Geminis are something else. That's my baby. She's a Gemini.
We're okay, so we're at time. God, why is this only an hour? Because we always end up cutting ourselves off.
Exactly. So wait, one more time. Repeat that.
I said, why is this only an hour? We end up cutting ourselves off.
We could go as long as we want, but on YouTube, not on YouTube, on Instagram, those folks will get cut off because Instagram kind of stifles us to that 1 hour. That's it. Yeah. But on our platform, the Taylor Kennedy platform, we can go forever.
We'll have to do a part 2 then. Ursula, can you come back for a part 2?
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Absolutely. Flash said delegation can't reach that itch that she has for that old thing that.
Hey, on that note, we're gonna circle back to that. The delegation cannot scratch that itch. We're gonna circle back on that.
She can go buy a toy that'll scratch the itch for her.
And that's why, y'all. Let's try. Can we just hang in here like another 10 minutes? And that's why I said, it's a fine line when you talk about purpose versus.
Let's tell the folks on Instagram I want to do this. Make sure that they're seeing because they want to support. For the Instagram folks, we're probably going to lose you here because it's getting ready to be 5 after the hour. If you want to continue the conversation, head over to the YouTube channel, Conversation with Trent and Friends, or go to taylorkennedy.com to get the streams. Good stuff there. Good stuff. Go ahead.
That's why I said early on, it's a fine line. It's a very fine line because when we talk about purpose, I want to go back to like people who have been in relationships that's beyond 30 to 35, like maybe 25, 30 years. Let's just stop there. Sometime like fiscally, a man will say, because we know for years men have, pretty much been the breadwinners. So we go back 20 years ago when they were typically like the breadwinners, and they married to somebody who totally understands their goals and wants to help them meet their goals. And he kind of understands his wife's goals, and he wants to help her reach her goals. So a lot of times they are aligned. Today, this is how people aren't really, people aren't not really masking, being honest about themselves or transparent. Because what my goal is definitely not what probably 90% of the guys who are trying to holler or talk to me goals. Our goals are totally not aligned. You know what I'm saying? And so
on that note, we're gonna piggyback off of what Coach D suggested. We're gonna do a part 2. Ursa, are you gonna come back?
I'm gonna come back.
Shan's gonna be back, so we'll have a full house, and I'm sure Coach D is gonna be wanting to coach the viewer from Taylor Kennedy platform. And
send me an email, dee.layler@gmail.com.
Gotcha. We appreciate all you guys, man. Really appreciate you guys. We just took some time to break, and honestly, we've been doing this thing ever since I come back after the incident. We've been going every week, sometimes twice a week, for the last 2.5 years. So we needed a break. We really needed that break, and Shannon needed that break. I definitely need the break because of the condition. It's very grueling with the workout schedule I placed myself on, and Coach D also, she definitely needed the break as well. All the coaching she's done, and she's contributed a ton to this platform. I could not do it without her. I love you dearly. Shannon, I love you dearly as well. You guys contributed to this platform, and the platform is now, as you guys can see, that I was over in France virtually with a nutritious coach, one of my good friends, Catherine. She's a nutritious coach. She'll be back on this Thursday and over from France. So the conversation is back across the pond. It's doing well. It's doing well over there in France as well. So it's back. And Urs, I couldn't appreciate you enough, and all the support and the love, and you allow me to tag and spam your page and slash. You already know what it is. You already know what it is with you and I slash. You already know we go back like 2 flat tires, and you always in the hunt with me. And my favorite Detroiter,
you saw my message that I put out there, not to interrupt you. You see my message that nobody else can include me in the tag except Trent Williams. If you in conversations with Trent, don't tag me in no messages.
I saw it. That warmed my heart. It warmed my heart. I'd be reluctant if I couldn't. I'd be remiss not saying my favorite Detroiter. Martine has been following me and supporting my favorite Detroiter for a couple of decades since the conversation's been in existence. Even when I forgot where I met her at one of the events, I can't remember, but she's always been there. I truly appreciate you. Hey, Keen, I see you beautiful. Always appreciate your support over the years as well, through my toxic times, through my loss of parents and siblings. You've always been there. I truly appreciate you, my friend. I really appreciate you and love you. All right, so you want to close this out, Coach D? Because I'm having a good time here. I'm on the ball here because Taylor was on the platform. The owner of Taylor Kennedy, part owner of Taylor Kennedy, because Kennedy owns the other half of it. She was on, and I'm excited. Go ahead. You close it out.
So here's the thing. No matter what kind of relationship you have, whether it has a contract or it doesn't, you need to communicate. Communication should be number 1, 2, and 3 on your list. So communicate what you want, how you want things to be, where your plans are in life, and all this stuff, so that you can both be in alignment. And if you're not in alignment, you can move on, because not every person is your person.
Exactly. And we're going to get to the last comment. But before we do, though, right behind me, tonight's sponsor, Lightning Trucking. If you guys can see that 800 number for all your logistical needs, blacklightningtrucking.com. From coast to coast, get anything picked up from us, just give a call. 800 numbers. I don't know if you guys can see it, but 800 numbers there. Or just go to blacklightningtrucking.com.
Can you tell us the 1-800 number for Black Lightning Trucking?
I'm sorry, can you see it?
No, call it out. Turn around, give us the number. 1-800
I can't turn with the situation with the left side.
Oh, okay. Go to your right. 1-800. Oh, your left.
To the right or left? To the left.
1-800
I can't see it.
572-9358. 1-800-572-9358. Black Lightning Trucking.
Proud sponsor of the conversation, and Romello and Champ is back together, baby. Romello and Champ is back together.
Yeah.
Those who know the Four Horsemen book and Chapter the Delta, and he's also in the Recovery book. So Romello and Champ back together, doing what we always used to do. Get that guac, get that bread. Good stuff, man. Go ahead, Coach D. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just reading the comments because the comments, Martine and Kennedy are having a conversation.
Keena's going in there?
Yeah. Martine said good night. She got to work. Where's this? Tina said, yes, come back to sugarcoat this. I came in on the tail end. Seems interesting. Martine said he's going through his little black book, trying to see which woman still got feelings for him.
He's still at the view from
I believe you, who will say yes. Interesting. I saw that. Guys will even get a woman they don't even feel deeply for just to not be alone. And then Martine said, thank you, Trent. We met at Fishbones. You and your homeboys used to be in the area near the bar.
Downtown Fishbone. Fishbone. Good stuff, man.
All right.
Well, I think it's in Greektown. I believe that is in Detroit. Good stuff, man. Real good stuff.
Any final thoughts, Ursula?
No, I'm just looking forward to part 2 of this conversation with the fine line.
This is gonna be good, man. I'm excited.
I'm excited that you're excited that Taylor showed up.
Yeah, that's my baby, man. That's the first girl that ever loved me outside of my mother.
Yeah, that's a good feeling. I wonder if you understand how girls feel about their daddy, because I've really been.
First of all, I'm in
that with my daddy a lot. Like
I'm in love. I am in love with my daughters. I'm so in love with my daughters. I named my publishing company after them.
Yeah.
I'm so in love with them to where they get the royalties from these books.
Great.
I'm so in love with my kids. I'm so in love with my 2 daughters. So yeah, good stuff, man. So I'm looking forward to coming back and do this, man. Everybody, all that stuff. Everybody, man, I really appreciate that. Really appreciate it. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. And hey, you guys, it's gonna be early Thursday, but tune in. Try to tune in because it's very important, because I'm actually bridging the two as far as the nutritious with the nutritionist coach Catherine from over in France. She's been actually coaching me on my nutrition for years. I just started taking it serious at this point with the
What
condition.
time is it on your platform?
It's gonna be 8:30 our time. It's gonna be like 8:30
in the morning.
AM, yeah.
Okay.
And it's a 7-hour difference. So, for them over in France, for you guys over in France, it'll be 3 p.m. or something like that.
Make sure you post the link in your people here so we can log in at 8:30 and watch. And
absolutely.
We can all use some, refresh and brushing up, especially in New Orleans on diet coaches.
Absolutely.
Meal.
But Coach Catherine, the nutritionist coach, I've been knowing her for about 10 years. She's responsible for the snack you guys see here.
Where?
Nice and trim.
Is a snack in the room with us?
Stop. I'm the snack. Either Cobra the snack one. Somebody.
Lordy.
So you ain't gonna be able to ghost him no more. Now I'm just gonna go right there with that because they're gonna have people looking for you, Coach D.
Yeah, that's all right. I'm good.
So Coach D, you want to close them out real quick so we can get out of here?
I already gave them my thought of the day. With communication.
Gotcha. Well, we'll see you guys next week. The topic will be the same. For Purpose of Pleasure, Part 2. So we'll see you guys next week. You guys, thank you for tuning in. You guys be epic. We love you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Conversations with Trent in conjunction with Taylor Kennedy Media and your radio network would like to thank you for calling in and listening to tonight's episode. We hope that tonight's conversation offended you just enough to turn your mirror inward to come back for more. So until next week's conversation, be epic.